Hello and welcome back to Singapore's favorite channel on Singapore permanent residency applications. Today, we are going to delve into a powerful strategy that can not only potentially increase your chances of success with your Singapore PR applications, but also optimize your financial growth with the Supplementary Retirement Scheme, also known as the SRS. Discover how opening an SRS account can potentially increase your retirement savings and also play a crucial role in your Singapore PR journey. Joining me today is a senior financial consultant, Ms. Elena-s, who will be answering our pressing questions on SRS and finance. Don't be deceived by her looks. Born and raised in Singapore, she is all too familiar with how the local market works and is known for providing the best investment options and advice for her clients. And without further ado, let's welcome Elena.
Thank you, Elena, for having me on your channel today. To give a bit of background about myself, I'm a senior financial consultant at IPP Financial Advisers, and I'm part of the Expat Advisory Group team. I've been working in the industry for over 7 years now, and I can genuinely say that I've met people from different backgrounds, giving me the expertise I need to navigate the various international markets and as well give advice to people on multi-currency investment strategies and products. Now, I'm also born and raised in Singapore as well, which makes me knowledgeable about the local markets too. And I'm able to then give people the advice on how to optimize their portfolios while they live and work in Singapore. But I would say the core of my business is actually to help people invest effectively whilst moving towards their financial goals.
Now for the very first question, let's start off with something that's on everyone's mind as well. What is the most effective way to save and invest, in your opinion?
Yeah, that's a good question. I personally think the most effective way to invest is to first of all determine your financial goal. Now, is that your retirement or planning for your child's university fees, or even planning to save up enough money for your first home? And once you've determined that financial goal, that's when you go ahead and determine your time horizon, so the amount of time you want to pass before you reach those financial goals. And then with those two bits of information, a qualified financial consultant like myself should be able to then help illustrate how through the use of investment returns, we can actually potentially reach those financial goals. Once you have a financial plan that's attainable and easy to follow, that's when you go ahead and select an investment product and build a portfolio with the help of a financial consultant like myself. I personally believe that if you spend a little bit more time on your investment strategy and financial plan, in the long run, your plan will be more structured and easier to follow when it comes to reaching your financial goals.
Well, that completely makes sense. Yeah. Now, next is also a question that we get asked by a lot of our expat clients. Like, now that they are working in Singapore, should they continue to send their money back home or invest in an offshore tax-efficient structure?
As you're working in Singapore and earning in Singapore dollars, it does make sense for you to take advantage of what Singapore has to offer. One of the reasons is Singapore generally does not charge capital gains tax on financial instruments. And the next thing, of course, is there are tax-efficient retirement schemes such as the Supplementary Retirement Scheme, and it actually provides income tax relief to all residents, including foreigners. And the other great thing is it will naturally diversify your portfolio that you have back in your home country. So all of those, I think, are good reasons to invest here in Singapore and not send it back home.
So here is the big question. What is the Supplementary Retirement Scheme?
So the Supplementary Retirement Scheme was designed to encourage people to save above the Central Provident Fund, also known as the CPF. The voluntary scheme allows its participants to deposit various amounts of money throughout the year, subject to their personal caps. So the personal cap for a local is 15,300 per year, and for a foreigner, it's 35,700. Now, the best part is with SRS, you can actually invest that money. It doesn't just have to sit in an account and earn no interest. But before we talk about that, the first thing that someone should do is open the SRS account first with their respective bank. Now, once they've opened that SRS account, that's when they can go ahead and transfer money from their existing bank account into the SRS scheme. This can be done through iBanking, or you can just head down to your local branch, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you with that. So once the money is in the scheme already, that's when you can go ahead and start exploring different financial instruments. So that's whether you use your bank to access these financial instruments, or you can get help from a senior financial consultant like myself. And I would be more than happy to then, of course, then advise onto what kind of instruments can be available to be purchased with SRS.
So another common question that our clients ask is that, what if I open an SRS account but I don't get a permanent residency status? And what will happen to my account, and what are the investment options for me?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the first thing to note is, as a foreigner, you don't have to wait to the statutory retirement age to take your first penalty-free withdrawals. You can actually just hold your SRS account for a 10-year holding period, and then after that you can withdraw everything in one lump sum, and then only 50% of that lump sum is subject to tax. So in a way, I just tell clients, look, it's a 10-year scheme. Yes, you'll be locked in to a degree, but it's a good opportunity to get some investment returns, and you'll get some income tax relief while you're working in Singapore. So I don't really see it as a losing situation if you don't get your PR. But also one thing to be aware of course, if you wanted to withdraw money from SRS earlier than the statutory retirement age or earlier than the 10-year holding period when it comes to foreigners, that's when they would impose a 5% penalty on the withdrawal amount, and it will be subject to tax. But in summary, I honestly don't think it'll hurt anyone having an SRS account. It's just another way to save for your retirement. But I do always encourage clients to deposit $1 into the SRS scheme, because what this does is it locks the statutory retirement age. So this, of course, will be applicable when they become permanent resident with your help, hopefully.
So basically, it's just like to choke the period first.
Yeah, to choke the retirement age. Yeah, that's correct.
So Singapore is known as a very tax-friendly country. So what are some of the tax advantages that one should consider when investing in Singapore?
Yeah, so some of the tax advantages, as mentioned earlier, is first of all, Singapore generally does not tax capital gains on financial instruments. And the second one, of course, is the Supplementary Retirement Scheme. It gives its participants income tax relief. So both, I think, if you ask me, are good reasons to invest in Singapore when it comes to growing your wealth.
So these days we see a lot of investment advertisements on social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sure you come across a few yourself as well. So is there any one best investment option or platform that one should invest in?
I personally think no, just because I believe one solution does not fit all. Every person is different. They have their own preferences, they have their own needs. So when I meet someone for the first time, I do a fact finder, I do a financial needs analysis. This helps me then be more certain of what I'm recommending actually makes sense for the client. Now, if you look at my client portfolio, all of their portfolios are, custom made, or their financial plans are tailor-made as well. I just think it's important to take a unique approach to every single person you see. So another thing to also be wary of when it comes to SRS specifically is that not all financial instruments and not all managed funds are actually SRS approved. And the other thing to note is not all investment products actually accept SRS as a form of investment as well. But these are things that a financial consultant can help you mitigate and understand better. But before you go that far, you should also be always conscious of your risk profile, how much risk you can actually think you can consciously take on going down the investment journey when you build your portfolio as well.
Now, Elena, for the very last question to wrap up today's episode, as a professional, would you care to share some tips with our viewers on what is a truly good way to build up a good investment portfolio?
Yeah, certainly I can, Elena. So my first tip to the audience would be, if you're not well versed in investment products, just get help. This will help reduce unnecessary risk. Now, the next thing is, if you see something with a very big potential to go up, it can equally go down as well. So just be conscious of your own risk tolerance. How much investment capital are you okay with losing at any given point of time? Now, to check this, you can look at the volatility of the managed fund or the asset you're planning to invest into, and it's usually shown as a percentage. This percentage will give you a rough indication of how much this particular asset or portfolio has lost in the past based on past performance. Now, another tip is just to make sure that your portfolio is risk managed, is just to diversify. Diversify into different industries, diversify geographically, and even diversify between the different fund managers because they all have different strategies. So these are all great tips, I think, that can help you with your investment portfolios. I'm more than happy to help anyone with building a portfolio or recommending a product. You can find my details below. But thank you so much for having me on your show today, Elena, and hopefully you found this insightful.
You're most welcome, Elena, and thank you so much for all the insightful advice and intricate details about SRS. I have definitely learned so much about SRS and investment today. As immigration professionals, we always encourage and recommend our clients to have an SRS account and also invest into Singapore, because this will not only potentially increase your chances of getting your Singapore PR approved, but it also will help you to secure a sound financial status and future here in Singapore. And that's it for today's episode. If you have found today's content to be helpful, informative, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also share it to your friends who may be curious about SRS, investing here in Singapore, and even securing a Singapore PR status. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so you don't miss out on our weekly episodes, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye!